Hi there, you're catching me on one of the rare occasions when I use my car. I've just been to the supermarket. That's a once a week outing, maybe a little less than once a week. And it makes me wonder whether I really do need a car. Because we know all the arguments about vehicles, particularly vehicles that only contain one person in them, being environmentally unfriendly, that we tend to rely on them for chores that we could do by other means, by public transport or by foot. And also there's all the expenses associated with owning a car. But cars are etched deeply into our psyche, and that's the problem, is that when I grew up, everybody had a car. And dare I say it, and I know it's perhaps unfashionable now to say this, but it was a sign of becoming an adult, or more specifically, being a man. Every boy who turned 17 in my jurisdiction who was of age to get a license was in a mad scramble to get a license and get a car and get the freedom or the cachet that goes with it. And if you look back at movies of that era, it was the guy with the car. Even now we see it reflected in popular culture, in advertising, that is the certain type of car. But back then it was just those who did and those who didn't. And when I was a young student, university student, having a car meant a hell of a lot. It meant getting around, but it also meant that if a pretty girl needed a ride somewhere, well then I had the means to do it. Sorry, sounds sexist, but that was the reality. And the reality of my generation was that unless they had a need for a vehicle, a lot of women waited longer. They weren't in that crazy rush to get a license and get a car. Quite happy, some of my female friends, to take public transport to get around, because, you know, young female minds are probably smarter than young male minds. Now I'm no longer a young man. I still have a car, and I'm starting to wonder, I've got money tied up in this car. It's only going to decrease in value, and it's only going to cost me more money, and I very rarely use it. Occasionally I go for a drive in the country. Occasionally I need it to get somewhere, to the airport or to the cruise port when I go on a cruise. But for those occasions, is it worth having it, particularly since you then have to pay parking anyway? When I have friends with cars, when there are such things as taxis and ride shares. So I can always Uber where I want to go, and even though they sometimes charge a hell of a lot of money, it's nowhere near the cost that's caught up in the car. But my heart says, and part of my brain says, that I need a car. Now, I didn't feel this way when I was living overseas in very congested, strange to me countries with laws that I didn't quite understand and authorities that I didn't necessarily trust. It seemed that having a car was too much trouble, and also having a parking space. If perhaps at the moment I didn't have a parking space, well, then I might not feel the overwhelming urge to have a car. And arguably I'm paying more for my abode, for my rental unit, than I would have to, because it's got parking. So the question for you all out there, please, is, do I need a car? Do you need a car? Does everybody need one? And tell me, have you given up driving or given up owning a vehicle? And how does that feel? Do you feel less of a person? Do you feel less in control of your life? Or do you perhaps feel more in control of your life because you don't have to worry about that car? I'd love to know how people think, and maybe you'd like to vote on it in the comments, in the likes. Should Brett have a car? Does he need one? Let me know, and please subscribe if you like this video. If you want to support me, you want me to make more videos, perhaps you want me to make more videos of me walking, which would be good for my health, rather than driving a car. I won't be seeing you, but hopefully you'll be seeing me again soon here on this channel. Thank you for your time, and safe motoring.